Sponsors, I need you in the front right corner of the room, or front left corner, I should say. Stage right, front left. We got to kick this thing off in 2 minutes. So if you can hear my voice, I need you in a seat, unless you are a speaking sponsor today. Rojas, come here real quick. Dan, can you grab this? Dan Rojas, come up here real quick. All right. Sponsors, I need you guys up here, stage right, front left corner of the room, so we can kick this thing off. If you are one of the speaking sponsors, come line up right here. If you are standing in the room, I need you to sit because you're slowing us down. All right, I'm going to walk back there. This is the part where I look angry. Y'all ready? I'll try to smile. Hey guys, if you're in the back of the room right now and you're standing, you're the reason we haven't started. So if you're right here, I need you to come sit down right here. If you are a speaking sponsor, we need you in the front corner because we need you to speak, not sell. So real quick, if you are at a table, we need you in the front left corner. If you are standing, we need you in a chair. We're going to start this thing, and there's a lot to learn today. So thanks, y'all. All right. We're going to kick this thing off. You ready, man? Hey, thanks for coming. Tell Addis I say what's up. What's up, Edgar? Thanks for joining us. You know what I really wish we could do, though? Right? We got it off, but it's definitely not 67 like he says it is. All right, I tried. All right, you guys ready? Dave, you good? I remember now. I'm supposed to stop for a second, right? What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Let me try something. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Masterclass February session. I tried to tell them that no matter how many sign up, we aren't going to have 300 in the room. I mean, they're realtors. They don't all come. It just is what it is. And if they come, they don't all come on time. So here's what I need you guys to do. If you're in the room, jump up as far as you can. Like if you're in the first few rows, it's not a big deal. But if you're like way in the back where there's a bunch of space around you, come up and grab some space because I promise you we will have dozens more people that sneak in. And if you sit in the back, they're all going to interrupt you while they try to fill in all the seats in front of you. Cool? You guys ready to learn something today? If you are, make some noise. All right, real quick. How many of you have been to Masterclass before? Make some noise. All right, anybody new? Is this your first time? Who's the first timers? Raise your hand. Can we give them a round of applause? So this is the 82nd session of Masterclass Central Florida, formerly Masterclass Orlando. We've been doing this thing for over 8 years now, and for those of you that don't know how it started, it's pretty simple. About 8-9 years ago, there was just nowhere that you could go learn from the top producing agents without an ulterior motive. So we realized that there weren't even a lot of places you could learn with an ulterior motive. Once in a while, there'd be a brokerage or two that would put their top people on board, and they'd be like, come learn from our brokerage. Come join us. And some people would go, some people wouldn't, and we felt like we're constantly connecting with the top 500 agents. By the way, if you don't know what Orlando Real Producers is, you're probably not on social or connected with a lot of agents. No, I'm kidding. You probably haven't been in the top 500. So what we do is every year we rank the top 500 agents in Greater Orlando. We've been doing it for 8+ years now. And we make a magazine and run events specifically for the top 2.5% of agents. Because let's be honest, out of 24,000 agents, it's a pretty big realtor world. And the top 500 are doing about 60% of the volume, but they're only the top 2.5%. And so many years ago, when we started throwing these big parties to celebrate them, people would see them on social media, and they'd be like, how do I get an invite to the Ortbees? Hey, you guys had a party. Why wasn't I invited? How do I get an invite? And we used to say, sell more next year. Hit the list. And that didn't seem so fair or nice. So what we realized was we needed a bridge. What did we need? Okay, y'all were listening, just making sure. We needed a bridge. So we needed to figure out how to build a bridge from the top agents in the market who hit the list year in and year out to everyone else that wants to figure out how to be a top agent year in and year out. So we built this thing, Masterclass Orlando. It's pretty simple. There's no ulterior motive. There's no recruiting. There's no political board or brokerage affiliation. I'm not even licensed, so I could care less what your business model and how you do it is. What I care about is agents in the room learning a ton and coming back, and agents going from being a new agent like Peter Liu to a top 25 agent, as we've seen him do over 8 years, by just coming to this stuff and showing up and plugging in with the best of the best. And so this month, the topic is scaling despite circumstances. And I got a lot of questions about what does that mean? And it's pretty simple. I want to interview a handful of agents who year in, year out, produce at a high level, regardless of what the market looks like. And maybe some of them scaled every single year. Maybe some of them, their sales went up, their sales went down, their life went up. Like, scaling's not always in terms of volume. And you're going to hear them talk a little bit about what they did, how they did it, why they did it, and everything, all of the above. But anyway, there's about 90 advertising partners that make the Orlando Real Producers platform happen. And so you guys know they're all referred by top 500 agents. So what that means is if you meet anyone in this room that does title, mortgage, lender, building inspections, anything, they're not just here because they brought bagels or donuts. They're here because they're freaking legit. They are the best of the best. That's why they're in this room. We don't let them in this room if they aren't already vetted and referred by top agents. Does that make sense? So if you meet anyone that doesn't sell real estate, I promise you there's someone that you want to know and connect with. Can we give a round of applause to the 90 companies that support this thing? And a handful of them stepped up extra to make today happen. There's not a ton of time because there's a lot of them. So I'm going to give each of them 60 seconds. They're going to come up here and do like a roll call, go down the line, and just tell you who they are, who they're with, what they do. Can y'all make me a promise to make sure to follow them, shout them out, visit their table so they don't have to talk too long, but they connect with you guys still? If that's cool with you, say, oh, yeah? Sweet. So I'm going to bring them all up. If y'all want to just line up here, y'all come on down. I think it might be easier to stick you all in front of the stage. And here, you can hold that for a minute, Scott. I'll let you kick it off in a second. I'll give you one, Mike. You got the coolest shirt on. And Heather, I'll give you one to close this out. Y'all give these people a round of applause real quick. One other quick side note. Next session is right here on March 20th I guess because of February being short and not a leap year, it's February 20th and March 20th, which I find really strange. But for whatever reason, that's how the math works. So we are right back here, March 20th. We're going to be talking about team building with a bunch of badass team leading agents. You'll see the flyer come up at some point. Make sure you're here, and you'll see the website come up, all that stuff. But you should have like 10 emails by now with the schedule for the entire year. If you were here today, check your emails this week. If you don't already have it, we'll give you the entire 2025 schedule. Almost all the topics, almost all the speakers are done. There's a few of them we haven't announced because we're waiting on a person or two, but we're pretty much done lining up all 11 for the year. Can y'all give yourselves a round of applause for volunteering, coming, all that stuff? All right, I'm going to let Scott kick this off. Scott, let's do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. You working? Hello? Yep. All right. My name is Scott Fosgate. I'm with Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. I've been a part of this group since it originated, and I want to thank Aaron, as I think we all try to do every week, for putting this together. There's a lot of great people in this room. There's a lot of great vendors. A lot of you are very hardworking real estate agents. And I come from kind of the old Southern family where your mother or your father had like quips they would always say, right? And one of mine that my mom would say is, you are who you associate yourself with, right? She also would tell me guilt by association if I was on the edge of getting in trouble. So I want to mention that because we associate ourselves with each other. And I found a great quote. It says, the people you surround yourself with are an extension of your energy, your beliefs, and your goals. And it's okay to be selective. I thought that was pretty cool. And we're all here for a reason. We're all here to get better with each other. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for supporting this platform. There's a lot of great vendors, a lot of great sponsors, a lot of awesome mortgage people, title people, insurance. So we appreciate your patronage, and let's all learn something today. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Christy Keene. I'm with DeVore Design. If you're not familiar, Vic is the one that always does the selfies. That won't be me. We've established my arms aren't long enough for that. We're all here to learn about scaling today because really that's what it takes to be super successful in real estate, right? Vic was in that exact same position 10 years ago when he started DeVore Design. At that point, he was just doing photography. Scaled up to include video, etc. The reason he's not here this morning is he's actually at a scaling meeting for our infrastructure of the company. One of the things that he was super passionate about as he built DeVore Design was being able to scale and grow alongside of you guys. So whether that's listing media, whether it's your social media or your website, or you have some crazy weird idea that you're like, hey, maybe you guys could be part of it. Let us know because we are here for that. We have a QR code over at the table. Make sure you scan it because whatever services you use, you can use the discount code that's in there.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Cameron with Sorensen Mayflower Moving and Storage. We are a residential and commercial moving company in Orlando. We service
Hey, Cameron, hold that real close to your face.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Now we can.
Cameron with Sorensen Mayflower Moving and Storage. We're a local moving company. We do interstate, international moves, residential, office moves, you name it, we do it. We actually store the New Year's time, the New Year's Eve ball, and that you see dropping New Year. We actually store that in one of our warehouses. So also all sorts of cool stuff that we do. But one thing that sets us apart from other moving companies is I take each and every move as it's my own. I make sure that we take good care of you. The one thing I hear from all the realtors I work with, is they want their customers taken care of. They want the move to go well. So I make sure I do a good job. I take good care of the customer, and I make every move my own. So thank you for being here today.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mike with Central Florida Building Inspectors. Scaling is a topic that is near and dear to our heart. In 1988, we started with Rick and then eventually JT, his son, and our current owner and president started the company. And over the years, we've grown. It got to the point where JT came out of the field. And 10 years ago, we were at like 5 or 6 inspectors, and we really decided we wanted to ramp up and grow. 3 years ago, we were at 12. Right now, we're at 19. And we cover all of Central Florida, from Ocala down to Sarasota, Flagler to Melbourne, and everywhere in between. We do commercial and residential inspections and our full service. Our plans, again, scaling, is to grow to 25 this year. And we've done that through using systems, automations, technology, training. So pay attention to what they're saying up here, and you'll be able to scale as well. I always take tidbits away from these classes, even though it's about real estate, because there's things that are applicable to any business. So as you grow, we'll be right there with you.
Good morning. This is a great crowd. There's a lot of people I know, a lot of people I've known for a long time. I'm Brooke Landau Chang. I'm the owner of Apex Title, second generation in title. So a lot of people have worked with me at various companies, and I finally did it for myself. So I specialize in affiliated business arrangements, membership programs. So I'd love to meet each and every one of you. My booth is over there, and let's have fun today.
Hey guys, ooh, all right, close enough. I talk loud as it is. Chris Hardiman, Apex Group at Guaranteed Rate. Wonderful to see you all out here today. I had the same quote as Scott, and he stole it, so thanks a lot, Scott, wherever you went. No, I'm just kidding. I did not. So Guaranteed Rate, very large mortgage bank. The Apex Group is a group of local lenders here within Central Florida. 12 loan officers. I could say the same things about scaling, but everyone said it so eloquently up to this point. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you grow your business. Fluent in written, spoken, of course English, but the gringo. Spanish, Portuguese. We're here to help you guys out. We've got a great team there at the back. We've got Vince, Wally, Daniela. We work with a lot of people in this room. We'd love to work with you all. If you are unsure about us, please, we built our business based upon our reputation. Ask around the room. Aaron is right. The vendors in this room, all of us are vetted by the top agents in the community, which is why this organization is so important and why we value Aaron for putting it together. So thank you all. Looking forward to the content today. Have a great day.
Love it.
Good morning. Oh, let's try that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's go. My name is Monica. I'm with Assured Partners. I am an insurance brokerage. My team is about 20, and we represent about 25 different insurance companies. And I'm here to bring fun into insurance, which we know sounds like insanity. But yes, I'm here to bring fun into insurance through my partnerships, through leveraging the carriers that we work with. I do want to give you guys a little nugget. Insurance rates on auto insurance, so each and every one of you, I'm sure, drove a car here today and probably would like to save money. So insurance rates on auto are going down, and if you want to contact me and my team back in the back booth, we'll be happy to help gather some of your information to help save money. But on the flip side, I work with all of your buyers on property insurance to make sure that we can save them money as well. So please come and visit me. We have some notebooks and some fun back there, all right?
Love it. Bring us home, Heather. Oh, actually, real quick, I'm going to give a shout out to the people. Actually, no, I'll let you go.
You
Go
will?
ahead, Heather.
Oh, thanks,
I'm gonna look
guys.
up who's
Hey,
missing.
everybody, what's up? Heather Hurry, Pillar to Post, and Jeff Mackey team. Who in the house is grateful today? Raise your hand. Ah, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So listen, I just wanted to come today and, number one, say thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a lot of people in this room who utilize our company and talk about scaling. That's how we scale with you, right? So thank you so much for doing that. One little tidbit today. Do you know that everything in your home has a life expectancy? So if you would like a free cost guide with life expectancies of the big ticket items, come see me in the back, and I got a little something for you, but it's all about value today. I'm going to be quiet because I want to hear the panel today. That's why I'm here. So learn, and thank you, Aaron, for the opportunity.
Love
all right,
it.
bye, guys.
Jeff Mack team, Pillar to Post. And then there's a couple of sponsors that I'm just giving them a shout out. We'll do a 1, 2, 3 clap for all of them in a second, and because they're not all in the room. So real quickly, first one is Blue Haven Pools. They're one of our biggest sponsors. They're brand new to us. Someday they'll be here, and you'll learn about why you should send them to your clients that need a pool. Because, I mean, we haven't had a pool sponsor ever, so most of y'all in this room are probably looking for a good pool company to refer. So make sure you look up Blue Haven Pools. We've also got the crew, most of his team with Florida Home Photo. They are out shooting photos, and I had to give them a shout-out as well. Sorensen Moving already went. We got Artesian Title is also another one of our big sponsors. And we got to give a shout out to Marlise, who's in the back with Orlando Estate Sale Ladies. The crew at Harding Bell International is also here. And the team at Hatfellow Productions, who usually helps us with check-in, but they were sick today. But I got to give them a 1, 2, 3 clap on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's start this thing off. Y'all ready? real quickly, before I bring up our next panelist, or our first person, I want to hear what you guys want to learn. So I need at least 3, 4, 5 answers from this room. Someone's got to kick us out. So somebody that has a reason you're here, help me shout it out. Y'all just raise your hand if you got something you want to hear today. Somebody give me, yeah, right there. You want to hear what people are doing to generate leads. I love it. What else? Yep, Linda. Got it. Lead gen, combating negativity. What else? Let me get 2 more. Yep, Marliese. AI. She wants to hear about AI. How about someone in this area? Anybody? Someone yell one out. Y'all came here for a reason, right? Yeah. Lead conversion, lead gen, lead conversion, AI, and negativity in the market. Anything else? Yep. Broker agreement. Mary, you had something? Was there? Oh, Steven. Outsourcing. All right. That's like 6 things. I'll try to hit on most of them. Y'all ready to learn something today? Oh, yep. Go ahead. Technology you use to grow your team structure. Any others that we got to get to today? Yell them out if you hear them. Going once, going twice. I may ask you again when we're interviewing them. All right, let's start this thing. Let's start with Brian Hyser. We're gonna do this instead of going in a panel. By the way, if y'all didn't realize this year, if you haven't read the emails, because I know most people don't really read the emails, we're not doing panels anymore. So we'll keep using the word panel probably because it'll just come out, but we're not doing panels. We don't want to go 4 or 5 where they go surface level. We want to go really deep with somebody until they're done, and then switch it out or bring someone else into the conversation. So we're gonna start with Brian Hyser. Brian's a leading real estate broker in Central Florida with a proven track record of success. He has over 6 years of experience. He's personally sold over $250 million in residential real estate, and last year ranked number 22 out of 24,000 plus agents, over 40 million in sales. Is that right? Was it higher than that? A lot higher than that? Yeah, it's good. I figured it's at least 40 million. Was it like 80?
No.
44. I was close. All right, that was pretty close. So he's currently residing in Lake Mary. Oh, by the way, Brian made the strategic decision to open the agency Orlando. It's made a pretty big splash. Y'all can cheer for that. He resides in Lake Mary with his wife, his 2 boys, and he brings a wealth of experience and expertise to the real estate industry. And this isn't in his bio, but Brian actually came to real estate from being a successful chiropractor and learned all about marketing and advertising and business and lead gen and lead conversion and keeping his clients and all that stuff in the chiropractic world, and brought it straight to real estate and just started kicking ass from the start. So let's give it up for Brian Hyser. And I'm just going to chat with Brian for a little bit if that works. You got a mic?
Yeah.
All right,
Can you hear
Brian.
me? Good?
Let's talk about how you got into the business and what it looks like today.
So I was a chiropractor. All my red people over there, I want to say hi to you guys. Thanks for coming. No, I was a chiropractor. Moved here from Chicago. Did that for about 6 years and met my beautiful wife, had my son Cameron, and soon realized that when you're in the chiropractic industry in Florida, things kind of just aren't the way, it's not the wellness way. In order to make money in this industry, especially in the state of Florida, you're dealing with insurance companies, you're dealing with attorneys, doing that kind of thing, and I very soon lost the passion for it. Not to mention, I was working 24/7, and I felt that first year with my family, I missed a lot with my son, and I wanted to kind of pivot. So a good friend of mine was a real estate broker in Lake Mary, and he's like, dude, you'd be a good real estate agent. Never thought about it, but it took about 3-4 months, and said, I'm going to get my real estate license, see how it goes. Transitioned out of chiropractic, selling my partnership, and just jumped right into it. And yeah.
What's it look like today?
Gosh, it's been 7 years of fun, and if I would have looked back, the biggest reason I made the pivot was because I was working too much. I'm working way more now. But it's nice because I'm flexible. You can have that flexibility. If you want to take a Wednesday off and take the kids to Disney, we can do that. But we just, we want to be, I'm very structured in my business. So I plan accordingly. My wife hates this. In the beginning of my career, we had plans to go do something, and if I got a phone call to go show a property, I was on it, and she hated that about what real estate's about. Trust me, I'm showing houses, we're making money, and we'll reschedule those types of things. But I try and make it a priority to be with my family, and that was the biggest reason why I got into this industry was the flexibility. but it's been 7 years of fun. I started out at Charles Rutenberg at 1,600 agents. Soon realized after 3 years that I grew myself to the top, and I wanted to be surrounded by, bigger players, and decided to open up my, a small boutique brokerage here in Winter Park. We went 3 great years, and from there, realized that we were missing a lot of the things that the bigger companies had, technology, brand, marketing. And lucky for me, I was driving one day, and Mauricio reached out and said, hey, we're opening up in Winter Park, and we want to partner with you. And it's been unbelievable ever since. So we launched in October, and we're rocking and rolling. So
How big's the squad?
28 awesome agents.
And the 28 agents, that's not your team, that's the brokerage, correct?
That's the brokerage, yeah. So we have a couple small teams within our company, but we're recruiting. We're looking for the best.
When you sell $44 million, that's you?
That's me.
Any assistant?
No.
Any buyers, agents, listing? Anyone helping at all?
No.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's.
How did you build? How did you build the $44 million?
Yeah.
Without any help?
Well, when you start out in real estate, you got to kind of build a sphere, right? I think a lot of people when they get into real estate, it's not that first career typically that they think about when they come out of school. So I obviously I fell into it, and I had to soon quickly realize what do I need to do in order to start building a clientele. I think lead generation is the fastest way to do that. I know a lot of the top agents here do this. I got a call from Zillow, right in the beginning, and I thought this was a great opportunity for me to get in front of people. So I did a lot of paid advertising in the beginning, tons of open houses. I mean, open houses were every weekend, like clockwork. One thing I always felt like that set me apart when it came to building my sphere is I would do open houses every weekend, but I would spend an hour to 2 hours prior to that open house, and I would door knock the hell up. Sorry, Cameron, I know you're right there. Apologize. I would door knock like crazy to meet people.
Get me in trouble too. Don't
I
worry.
know, jeez. Yeah, but I would door knock. I would build my sphere. I would build my my clients, my base of people, and did those types of things. Active pipe and networking and doing all those things to build that.
Just to
those
clarify, every weekend for how long?
Every weekend,
How long?
probably about 2 years. I
2
made
years.
sure
So
I did
about
2.
100 plus open houses.
Yeah, I built about 500. I think a customer base or active hot. We talk buckets in our office, but about 500 a year I would build through open houses or
Love it.
or door
We're gonna
knocking.
talk about your buckets in a second, but I want to
Yeah.
make sure we break this down. So you're doing you did about 100. You got in the business every single week. That's 50 weeks, something weeks a year, about right? 50 weeks, 2 years, 100 open houses or so. But you're also giving an hour or two of knocking all the neighbors. What do you say? And what do? Do you bring something with you? Do you just knock?
I mean, it was really passive. It was more of just letting those people know, hey, we have an open house coming up. It's from 12 to 2. I just giving you kind of a warning. There's going to be a lot of foot traffic here. There's probably going to be cars parked in front of your driveway. If you want to swing by the house, every neighbor wants to know what their neighbor's house looks like. It's that just having that kind of passive conversation. And then I always throw in, if you're ever interested, to know what your value of your home is, send me your contact information, and I'd be happy to throw a free CMA out there or give some sort of value, right? That was big, and I was surprised how many people would actually show up, to just see what the house looked like, and then you just build rapport with that person. You're building relationship. So.
Anyone else? Nobody here is surprised, right? Brian's got good energy. He knocks on your door. You're like, yeah, I'll come check this out. Yeah. Sounds good. He seems harmless.
Who's this guy?
Yeah, who's this guy? He's smiley. He's nice.
Saturday morning, knocking on my
He's sharp,
door.
Dude. Got perfect posture.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He could fix mine. No, I'm joking.
That is true.
You did too.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other story. We'll save it for another time. This guy actually saved me. I was supposed to have back. I walked into a MasterClass. Was this 4 or 5 years ago? And I was totally crippled. And I had back surgery already. And most of those of you that really know me know I was hunched over for the first year at Real Producers. And I walked in and something was not right. And I was talking to Brian. I was like, hey, you still remember all your chiropractic stuff? And he's like, of course, I was a doctor. And he told me all sorts of things. And I'll tell you this. It was May. and it was April. It was like April 20th or so, and I was really, really screwed up. And I called my surgeon. They scheduled to visit them in October. Brian called his friend, and I had surgery May 5th and was in and out and back to work by the next masterclass. So I got to give Brian a round of applause for that. Can y'all clap for him since I can't clap loud enough? I appreciate you, man. Let's talk a little bit about the lead. Like, let's talk about the follow-up. So you're doing all this open houses. You're getting the people. You're knocking on the doors. What are you doing to collect their info, and what are you doing with the info after?
Yeah. So I think one thing that really sets me apart from a lot of agents is I'm extremely structured in my business. Once you have the phone numbers and the emails and everything, I think one thing that a lot of agents lack is the follow-up. I mean, a lot of people will make one phone call or one email, and then if they don't hear anything, they're just like, see you later. I will annoy you until you respond one way or the other. I mean, that's just the way I am. I mean, I think our agents would agree to that. So my mornings, I want to kind of give you what my day looks like, because I think that really helps.
Let's hear it.
Is I focus. I'm very healthy. Obviously, being a chiropractor, very holistic type person. I like to work out every morning. That is to get my energy right, to get all of that. I focus on making. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you see that I always take damn pictures of my weights to make sure that everybody knows I'm working out. Right? I'm doing what I need to do. But anyway, I get to the office about 8 o'clock, and before I tap into any email, follow up with any phone calls, I'm in my buckets from the beginning.
Let's break down the buckets.
So my buckets are, I separate them into 3 different categories. I have my hot list. These are clients that we know what our hot list is. It's clients that are looking, as soon as that property hits the market, they're going to jump on it. The second one is my nurture list. Ones that maybe are 3 to 6 months out, kind of just passively looking. If they find the perfect house, they'll jump on it, but we're not communicating as often. And then my third bucket is, handling my listings, making sure that I'm talking to to my clients and staying in touch with them. So the 2 most important, I spend about an hour to 2 hours reaching out to all of my hot and all of my nurture. And that's either a text message, an email, a phone call, going through that so they know, and I'm looking at properties to see if anything's matching with them. I think we all use One Home or something similar, that sets automatic searches to you. So I'm constantly sending out value.
Leaving messages or sending texts when they don't pick up?
Always. You got to leave voicemails. You got to leave, text message. Just making sure that they know that that we are here and we're looking every day. What's that?
Are you doing both, or are you picking one?
I think it depends on the client, right? I think there's certain people that respond better to text message. There's certain people that respond better to phone calls, and I think that you'll figure that out as you start working with that person. And we're building relationships, right? So you're always trying. When we reach out, it's not. I can't stand when I get this message. Hey, I'm checking in. Obviously, you're checking in selfishly, but if you're adding value to that conversation, hey, I found a property. Or, hey, let's jump on a call and see, I want to, talk to you a little bit about what the market's doing and
Sure.
All that kind of stuff.
And I thought of you.
Always, yeah, exactly. So that's my morning.
Yeah, 2 words that every salesperson in this room should just remove from their vocabulary. 2 phrases: checking in and following up. Just don't say it.
Yeah, and that's such a sales thing, and we're service-driven people. We are in sales, but if you offer value and you're taking care of your clients, your business is going to scale organically.
All right. Let's switch gears if that's cool with you. Let's talk about, you talked with me a bit yesterday or the other day about the lead generation and then the retention of your clients. We talked about going from one to the other and how most agents, when it comes to scaling, they're not doing both, right? Talk a little bit about the philosophy where you think let me ask this question differently. What do you think the biggest mistakes that you see a lot of agents making are?
Yeah. So I mean, that morning of following up with your hot and your buckets, right? It's extremely important. That's typically my morning. From there, I'm talking. I'm handling my contracts, right? I'm making sure that all my listings are good. Every contract I have I'm leading that transaction, and we can talk. I'll talk more about leading a transaction because I think that's important. But following up with your past clients is one thing I think a lot of agents forget to do. And we are so busy chasing the next transaction that we forget all of these people that we helped in the past. And if you're doing these little things like sending out personal notes, every day to your past clients, or giving them market, updates every so often, you're congratulating, you're thanking them, you're happy anniversary, you're doing these things to continue that relationship past the closing date, you're going to start getting that repeat business in the future, and then you're going to get referrals that way. I always, when we sit down with agents that are constantly at 5 million, 7 million, 10 million every single year, that's a problem. Because you're doing 10 million, but if it's not, it's got to be new business, but it's also got to be the same past business, and that's how you organically scale, year over year. Is you're focusing on your buckets, keeping them full, but also focusing on the people that you helped in the past.
Just to make sure that I reiterate what I heard you say. What I heard you say was that if you're an agent in this room and you sell the same amount year in and year out, 2 or 3 years in a row, that it's a massive problem. Is that what I heard? Right?
Yes, yeah, 100%.
And you're saying it's a massive problem because they should be exponentially growing year in and year out because they should be adding to their base. So if you're generating $10 million in new leads, you should have your $10 million in new leads still, plus people that followed up and referrals and things like that, correct?
Yeah. So I mean, again, that morning is all of your new business that you've already kind of started to acquire. Your afternoon is going to be your taking care of your under contract and your listings, and then your afternoon is when you're out showing houses. You're figuring out how to build, add more to your buckets. Those buckets should always be full and overflowing. You always know what your business is going to look like the next quarter if those buckets start to empty out. So you're constantly, the way that my structure is focused on the stuff in the morning, your active, hot, middle is your under contract and listings, third part of the day, I'm going out looking for more, or I'm showing property.
So 4 buckets, do you have any way to visually see when you're running low, or like how are you tracking and keeping tabs on the pulse of them?
Yeah, if you don't have a CRM in today's world, I don't know what you're doing.
What do you use?
So we have a proprietary, CRM within the agency. Prior to that, I was really big with Follow Up Boss. It was just you got to have a place where you can just see everything in front of your screen, so you can keep yourself organized. I mean, you have to be organized, especially as your business starts to evolve and you have hundreds of contacts within your CRM. You have to organize that in a specific way so that you're taking the most of your time. So
love it. I'm gonna ask a few people around the room to just yell out their CRMs. Linda, what are you using? Follow Up Boss, Kevin, Jenny, Jason. All right, I'm not gonna ask the rest of the room. It sounds like we got an answer.
Sounds
already.
like the top agents are using Follow Up Boss.
I'm gonna stay out of this. Sorry if I didn't call on you. Let's keep going. Anything you guys want to ask Brian before I pull up some more people? I got more to ask you, but I just figured I'd ask the audience if they got something. Anyone learning something so far? Make some noise. All right. Here's what I want to ask you before I bring, and I'm going to bring Allison up too, and then I'm going to bring Richard, because they all have stuff to add to what you're talking about already. Let's talk about some of the things you do differently from other top agents. Give me something that you're doing different, either in your marketing, in your open house, when you follow up. What are you doing differently that makes you more efficient than the average agent? Give us a nugget or two that you do that most agents just wouldn't do or don't know.
I think one of the biggest differences is, I hate the word salesperson. So many of us are out looking for the next sale or the next deal. I've always been about customer service and serving the client. And I think that consumers are not stupid. They can see past somebody that's really trying to push them into buying something. And if you really take care of those people and you treat them right, and if you feel like a property is not the right fit for them, and you're speaking out about something, those people are going to appreciate you and take, you'll have them forever, right? So I'm all about serving the client the right, first before any sort of sales.
All right, last question before I bring them up. Biggest things you did to scale year over year? What were the biggest differences between year 2 and year 3, year 3 and year 4, year 4 and year 5? Give me a little bit of what that looked like.
Looking back, I wish I would have added, a TC and a buyer's showing agent and whatnot. But once we got into the brokerage, I started pivoting a little bit. But I mean, I don't know if I really did anything differently. I think I continued to do the same things, and it just my spirit continued to grow, and that allowed me to to sell more.
Did you continue the open houses?
I stopped doing the open houses just because I didn't have a lot of time as a broker and making sure that I had time for my agents. I still do Zillow, and I still do lead generation. I don't do it to the same volume as I used to. My business also changes based on the market. If heavy listings certain times, or I'm spending more money in marketing on listings versus spending money on on buyer leads or doing certain things. So I think it just depends on
What are you
where the
looking
market's
for when you shift and pivot?
What am I looking for?
Yeah, what are the telltale signs that I'm going to shift and do this a little, I'm going to do a little more of that?
I mean, last year was a tough year for a lot of people. I think a lot of agents scaled back on a lot of things because they weren't doing a lot of business, and I always felt like that's the time to kind of pounce and do more.
Yes.
So for me, I got really heavy into the old school type stuff. I made a ton of phone calls last year. We're big with postcards. I think we send out like 75,000 postcards a month. We're just trying to build a brand personally, and just get our face in front of as many people as possible. So the business changes, like I said, based on the market, but I'm doing the same things. It's just I have a larger sphere every single year because I'm still continuing to do that kind of stuff.
So what you and I talked about, that I wanted to make the distinction, because we had this talk, and he was like, I think a lot of agents, they generate leads, and then they only generate leads. They don't do anything to follow up. And he was like, the good agents are getting all their business from referrals. And I was like, I think there's an even stronger distinction, and that is the good agents get a lot of referrals. The best agents get both.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you that Weimer Group is getting tons of referrals and generating tons of leads. It's not one or the other. There's always gas being poured on the fire while logs are being added to keep the fire going. And I think that's where a lot of people screw up, is they do one or they do the other. They do one or they do the other, and they don't ever do both well. And the people that are scaling 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million, they're doing both at all times, and they're pivoting based off the market, but they're never taking their foot off the gas at generating leads and keeping their past clients serviced. And I think most people they do what we call the sprinkle effect. They sprinkle a little effort on this, they sprinkle a little bit over here, they sprinkle there and see what happens. And the top people just keep their foot on the gas. You
gotta treat this business as a 9-to-5. The best agents are treating it as a 9-to-5, and you have to be structured in what you're doing in order to continue to scale. And you have to focus on certain things throughout the day. I keep going back to it. You got to focus on keeping your buckets full, but you also got to pay attention to the people that you help, because those are the best referrals. You've already built that relationship with that person. Now you're going to get referrals from their friends and their family, and that's how you can the great agents are good at that because they're focused on building relationships and they're not transactional. Transactional, 10 million a year, that's where you're going to stay. If you're relationship driven, you're going to keep that 10 million, but you're going to continue to add to it with the deals that you've done prior. So
I see a lot of nodding from top agents around the room, so I'm going to guess that. Y'all give him a round of applause. I'm going to bring Allison up too, and then I'm going to bring up Richard as well. So Allison's a 30-plus year real estate career, helping buyers and sellers. The first house she ever sold, this isn't in her bio, but I remember, first house she ever sold was Dr. Dre's house. Is that pretty cool? I think that's pretty cool. Top 1% of all agents in Orlando, sold a ton in California and now Orlando. She's awarded Zillow's best top 1% in America. She sold over $250 million in real estate and is the founder of Lux Hunter Real Estate. So she has went boutique to big brokerage, back to boutique, and kind of done everything in between. And Allison, you ready to share some of your nuggets?
That was a hike, but yes.
Love it. All right, let's talk a little more about your career, what your business looks like today,
okay,
and a little bit about how you evaluate year in, year out, because I think you've got an interesting perspective about it.
Yeah, so for me, I actually descaled, and I knew that I needed to do internal work for external growth. And it sounds a lot different than what we are all used to on like social media and the things that we hear in coaching. And I'm 30 years into real estate, so this is my 30th year. And I had a big team, and then I went small, and I did 62 million, and then the market looked fantastically weird last year, and it was the best year I've ever had of my life personally. And numbers were horrible. I think I landed at like 12 million when you add in my new construction personally, not my team. It was horrible. I did take 6 months off of work, though. I didn't work for 6 months. So in 6 months, I did that. But I descaled, man. I took a look internally and said, I need to work on me to show up better for everything else. I needed to create space in my business to stop the noise, to stop hearing all the things that you're not doing right, you're doing right, and rebuild my pillars on what I wanted my business to look like, go back to being client-centric, which is the heart of my business. We lead with a servant's heart. And when I did that, I think right now we're at 14 million in our pipeline right now for quarter one. So it's just looked different for me. And I knew that I would never go back to what I looked like before because that was the past. I don't look in the rearview mirror and I'm moving forward.
So you took a few steps back, pivoted.
A lot of steps back. Mm-hmm.
And we talked a little, we don't have to go too in detail, but you were building out a flex team, is that right?
I had a flex team.
Had a flex team
and
decided it wasn't for you?
I grew because it was Zillow's footprint. And I grew and I grew and I grew and I did more and I did more and I did more and I was lost in my own translation. I was lost in my connection and my communication with the agents, with my clients, because you couldn't even catch a breath enough. You were just chasing deal after deal. And I'm like, I don't even know who I am in this business anymore. Like, I don't know what my passion is. I'm not showing up for myself or my clients. And it was super hard on my family. It was hard on my team. It was hard on me. And I decided that I never wanted my business to look like that anymore.
What was the moment that you were like, I'm changing?
I almost lost my marriage.
Understood.
So when that started to happen, I was like, and my employees, and they looked at me and they were like, we don't even know who you are anymore. And I was like, it's time for a change. I need to find out who I am again.
So what was the first thing you did?
Bought a farm.
Tell them about that.
I bought a farm off of Zillow. I never saw it. I bought it in Pennsylvania, and
you mean an actual farm, just to make sure we're
no, like 23 acres in a barn.
Yeah, just make it.
Yeah,
want to make sure they don't think you're.
Well, I'm not allowed
farming.
to have animals because I have to work 6 months of the year. But yeah, I literally was like, if I don't do this, mentally I needed to do it. I was broken, and I needed a reset, and I knew I needed that because I was so disconnected from my clients. And I'll tell you, I'm a big geo farmer. I get $1 million a year off of handing out pumpkins, 2,000 pumpkins at people's doors. I hand out Christmas wreaths. And this past year, I was so worried. Usually I have my assistant drop them off because I was like, I haven't talked to him in 2 years. I'm so embarrassed. I don't know what to do. And I prayed on it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say to these people. I'm so embarrassed if I show up. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I was like, give me the words to say, because I'm so disconnected from my sphere, my people. I don't call them clients. I don't call them database. I don't call them a sphere. I call them my community. And I said, I'm disconnected from my community. And so I went to the first door with a wreath, and I did these little tags, super cute. The front was just a picture of my family. The back was my QR code to my Spotify Christmas playlist. Nothing about real estate. And I dropped it to the door, and the girl came out and was like, Allison? I was like, oh, dear God. I was sweating. I'm like, yeah, it's me. And she's like, oh, I haven't seen you in like 2 years. We always see your assistant. She's so cute. She runs. She drops the pumpkin off. She's like, why are you here? And I was like, honestly, and it just came to me. I go, you know what? I have clients that are heavy on my heart, and I just needed to check in and say hi. 5 listings from that one wreath drop. Those 5 listings ended up into 3 more listings, and they're all getting ready to hit the market. And I just had to take away all the noise, all the fear, all the things that I'm telling myself, the self-sabotage, and go back to what I knew. And I'm a very relationship-based person. So those Zillow leads, I didn't think I wanted to be on Zillow forever. I knew that I wanted to take those Zillow people and build a community. And so I'm talking about, like, when I do a cold call, like on a lead, I'm on the phone, Zillow's like, be on 5 minutes or less. I'm like, okay, I just clocked an hour and 25 minutes. I go to my client's house, I'm eating dinner at their house. I door knock and I'm making brownies in someone's house that I've never met. Don't do as I do as I say. I mean, like, I build relationships. And when I noticed what helped also in my business is when I go onto a listing appointment, we are a very experience-based brokerage. So I'll show up at the door. The minute I'm leaving the door, they already have something being delivered to their house. Whether it's flowers, and I listen. So my clients are like, we're selling our house because we have allergies. I don't send them flowers. I send them a fruit basket. It's there before I can even get back to my office.
How? What's in place? Your assistant? Is it?
My assistant and I. So we had a certain client, and guys, listening is so important.
Is it something you do from the driveway? Like you sit in the car and immediately
I'm
put
already
notes,
doing it. If I already know I'm hitting that appointment, I have already ordered it before I even hit the appointment. And if I don't make the appointment or they cancel, you know what? At least I'm on top of their mind. It's
Love
okay.
it.
I had a client that was of a certain religion and couldn't eat a certain food. So we went out of our way to find a deli in New York that served a certain type of kosher food and had it delivered. Because of that, I got his listing and his brother's listings coming up. It's like $4 million in real estate from a $79 kosher basket.
So let's talk about this because it sounds like you've rebuilt many times, different areas, different times,
Yeah.
different times in your life.
Yeah.
If you were rebuilding right now today, what would be the first things you would tell an agent to do? Like if they, let's say they weren't from here and they just moved here, or you just went to a new market and you're like ready to build a new community, your community, not just,
Yeah.
where would you start? What would you tell them to do?
Saying hi. Just going out and making friends, saying hi. Being present. It doesn't have to be about business. The more it's about business, the less money you make. The less money you make. Just showing up and saying hi to people. Asking them how they're doing. If you see someone in the grocery store or can't open the door, it just leads to business. It leads to relationships. Relationships lead to business. It's something that I totally believe in that you said earlier. It's if you are a relationship-based person, the deals fall in your lap. And then you are good at what you do. You build your craft. You pour into yourself. And I think that's another thing I would tell people. Pour into yourself. Learn a niche or learn a skill. If I go on, my passion's gardening. I garden at my farm. And so every listing appointment I go on, 24 hours after I go to their house, I send them a landscape plan. Complimentary. Hey, these are the species of flowers you buy. Here's how you buy them. And no lie, I do go sometimes on Saturdays and plant their plants for them. I love to garden.
With their permission, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm like, look, we might need a little
They like
zhuzh.
look outside and you're gardening their backyard.
But I mean, those little, go above. If you have a standard, go above your standard. Because your standard's probably better than someone else's standard. And if you go above your own, you're setting a ceiling that can't be matched.
How many conversations do you think you're having in an average day or an average week?
Well, I talk a lot. So where I'm like, so we do a 10-day lead follow-up with inside internally from all of our old leads. We do a 10-day.
Can you break that down for them?
Sure. We call morning of, first, day one. We text evening. We text morning, day two. We email. We constantly for 10 days straight. And we don't stop there.
What types of messages, just so they are on the same page? Like, what
so
does it say?
I don't make, that's very strong. I advise my agents to go into the MLS, find a home in the zip code that their client's looking at. We put work in. Find a home. Don't just say, hey, there's something new that's hit the market. Hey, listen, this 3-bedroom, 2-bath has that master closet. Why we know that is because I really try to coach the agents. If you're going to talk about it, be about it. So don't say you sell Altamont and you've never even walked the neighborhoods. So I'm a high, strong believer in if stuff hits the market, go and look at it. If you're going to sit in open house, someone's going to go in and be like, oh, Johnny listed 3 doors down. And then you can say, guess what? The master closet was a little wonky, but the bathroom was great off the back of the house. They're going to be like, oh, wait. She knows what she's talking about. And I think that's huge. So when we're having
she's
those
listening.
and she's
Because when you send an email that says it has the thing you were talking about,
Yeah.
that tells the person that she's really listening.
And so they'll be like, oh, thank you. I didn't get a chance to look at my email. Thank you for following up. I know you haven't heard from me for 2 years, but I think that closet's great. Let's go take a look. So, yeah, listening.
I love it. I know when my parents sold their house in Domerick, they were so convinced that the house up the street from them had sold for like $600,000 or $700,000, and they were talking about it with an agent. They talked about it with another agent. That listing expired. They went through 2 agents. They sat with Mary Stuart Dagg and Megan Cross, and the first thing Mary Stuart said was, I can tell you exactly why that house sold. It had this, 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 and this, and this, and you guys don't have any of that. That's why it's worth more. And immediately they won that listing, sold that house, because my parents realized, like, oh, we just didn't know. We just, everyone's making these assumptions based off what they hear about homes they haven't seen. So just the fact that you're positioned as the expert wins out over anyone else coming in for the listing appointment.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will be like, yeah, that one sold for $320. Well, right, because you can go online and see that. What makes you different? What's the differentiator?
Love it.
How more do you know the community? How much better are you in conversation on top of the marketing and all the things?
I want to ask you a little bit more about your community, and I want to bring Richard up too, because I want to ask him about the same thing. But tell me, break down a little bit more of some of the things you're doing to follow up with those clients.
In general.
Not clients, with your community.
With my community. We're big gifters. So we are really big gifters. So one thing, and I was telling when we spoke, one thing that has been really, really personal to me, not only do I leave with something out of every one of my clients' homes, a hand-knit doily, brownies, I don't know. My house is full of everyone's things. But food. I'm Sicilian. I talk with my hands. I eat a lot. It's my jam, right? So a lot of times people invite me in for coffee or dessert or something that they've made. So this year specifically, we are allowing everyone to have a voice that's in my community and submitting a recipe to me. And we are making a cookbook. And every one of my people are getting that cookbook. And it's got a little something about their family or where the recipe came from. So they're getting to know each other. I'm doing things to bond my community. We have a list, a Lux list, if you would, and they get complimentary services, whether it's power washing on their house or, I mean, I've been in clients' weddings because I've referred them a wedding planner or whatever.
Break down the pressure washing thing because I thought it was a good nugget.
Yeah.
The Lux list, explain it to them. It's
so,
like your past client list, but you don't call it your past client list.
But it could be people that are just friends or family.
It's your network.
It's my network.
VIP treatment of some sort.
Yep.
And you send things out to them once in a while, and they get a message. It's like, "What's up, Lux list?
Yep.
Here's some free
It's
stuff."
new. We're just starting it, and we used to have all these micro events, right? A ton of events. And I realized if I got intentional on one big event and made it fantastic, I think the turnout would be better and people would buy in to more to what I was doing. So we do what's called For the Love of Lux, and we do it every Valentine's weekend or the weekend before Valentine's. This year we did it. And when COVID hit, we did handcrafted bouquets that were a drive-by. People would drive by, they'd get a bouquet and a coffee or a snack. We just did it a weekend ago. We invited 100 people and we had almost 70 show up. And we turned our entire office, which you could walk to, it's directly across the street, into a floral shop. And we had thousands of flowers, food, and people came in. And the greatest thing about this event was not that I got business out of it, because I do. It was the fact that I saw people doing business with each other. So a travel agent got booked a cruise from somebody that was there. A travel agent got a deal from a client that is a traveler. They booked a cruise. So my community's starting to do business within my community, and they realize that I'm there as a connector and not just looking for a deal.
Love it. Tell me a little bit about some of the giveaway. Explain that, because you explained it to me. You gave away a pressure wash. Tell them a little bit about like the marketing of that.
Yeah. I'm an old school marketer. I love paper. So I am a big marketer. So we send out, not only do we do the pressure washing, like, hey, listen, we knew that to grow our database, because I came off of Zillow, I needed to do something that really grew my database. So we are looking to do things that one lead or one intake would equal 2 more possibilities. So we'll do giveaways now that are like, hey, nominate 2 teachers you think would love this. So that one prospect now becomes 2 or 3. Hey, nominate 4 people you think that would love a car wash. And now I've got their name, their email, their telephone number. That one just became 4. So that's how we're looking to make that sphere bigger, to reach more people, to be able to grow the brand.
Love it. That was an awesome nugget. Can y'all give her a round of applause? We're going to keep this going, though.
Thank you.
I'm going to bring Richard in. Richard spent 17 years as a service consultant for Mercedes-Benz. He believes every customer should have a red carpet experience. After over 2 decades in automotive, he jumped into real estate because he likes connecting with people. And he's been ranking in the top 100 agents for, 4, 5, 6 years in a row. What'd you sell last year? Yeah, it will if I hold that mic. Hold this button. There you go. Dave, you got him on? It is on, but it's... Oh, it's here. It just takes a second.
There we go. Okay, cool. I think this year I ranked in I can't remember. Probably
we didn't count all your sales, though, so let's be honest.
I reached out to Aaron. I told him it's Florida. I want to recount. I don't believe in that number. I think there's a better number.
It happens. Tell me what you sold, though.
As far as volume?
Yeah.
I believe it was like 40-something million. I'm going to be very honest with you.
How about the year before?
The year before that, I believe it was about the same. It was really close to the same. How about the year before that? Like 30, 20 or 30, something like that. I'll be very honest with you. I don't really, anyone that really knows me knows, I don't really look at how much my volume really is.
Either way, 90, 100 million in the last 3 years, something like that.
I tend to find that at the end of the year when everything comes out, and I go, oh, wow, look, this is pretty cool. but I really don't pay attention to it as the year's going.
That's what you got Emily for now. Kevin probably knows your numbers, so we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your business.
They would be the ones to tell me, and then I'll be like, oh, really?
Because you dove in and just started kicking ass from the start. And I think all three of you, this is why I was like, man, I should have brought them all up together, because you all are talking about customer follow-up, sphere, lead gen, stuff like that. Talk a little bit about your philosophies on lead gen and what you do to follow up with your sphere.
You know, it's funny. I was sitting down here, and Brian was talking, and then I was like, well, I don't think I have anything else to say. It's pretty much almost like a clone.
He was talking. I almost said, well, we were talking, and then I realized, no, it's me and Richard that were talking about it, so trust me.
That's serious. Everyone back there was like, this sounds very much like you. But it's, very similar. I mean, anyone that knows me knows, like, I am very, very selective what I attend, where I go, how I spend my day. One thing I've learned being in real estate, for years was what I've heard early on, the very, very beginning. I heard someone say to me, Dave Chubb said it to Kevin Kendrick said it to me. He said, you want to be successful? Talk to people. Those are the 3 words, talk to people. And that's literally how I spend my day. There's lenders here, there's title people here that know me. They'll say, hey, they've tried to invite me out to lunch, and people would tell you, I turn down lunches all the time. I turn down happy hours all the time. Only because I just feel like I'm making sure that I put my time in where it's most valuable, which is lead generating and talking to people.
Thanks for joining us today. How many people do you think you talk to? How many people do you think you talk to in an average day?
Average day, how many people I talk to? You guys are probably going to think this is over-exaggerated, but 75 to 100.
Is that a thing, like every day you're like focused on, I'm going to hit 75 to 100, or is that just you estimating because I asked?
It depends. I mean, I have days where, like, if I have a day where I have, like, no appointments, and if I drink my coffee early and I start early and I have a burst of energy, and Emily's laughing because I'll bust into the office at 8 a.m. like, sorry guys, I'm on an energy drink and I didn't work out this morning. But if it just really depends how I set my tone for the day. If I start my day where I'm focused and I jump into my calls first thing in the day, then I'm going to be honest, I kind of just keep going. And I look at the time, and then I start to look at the numbers, and I start to go, oh, wow, I'm at 50 contacts. I'll look, and my wife would tell you, I'll look at her, and I go, well, it's only 1 o'clock. We still got like 4 hours. We can keep going. And then as the number just keeps going, I think I start to get obsessed with the number. I remember one day, when I was working with Kevin, I would call Kevin, and I would be like, dude, I'm at 80. I think I can hit 100. And then I'll hit 100, and I go, you know what? About 125. And I'll just keep going.
That scoreboard.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
That scoreboard.
Yeah.
And that's, when you say 125, is that contacts or is that people you actually spoke to?
So sometimes it depends. I mean, I'm a firm believer that even if you call someone, you leave a voicemail.
So it's same thing. Yeah.
Like, hands down, sometimes I hear agents say, oh, I got the voicemail. Did you leave a message? No. One thing I could say with voicemails is you can scale who's really listening to your conversation, right? If I call you today and I left a voicemail today, and then I left a voicemail on Friday, and then I left a voicemail on Tuesday, and I left a voicemail on Thursday. If I'm not hearing that your voicemail is full, then you're listening to my message. Or you're at least listening to the beginning that it says, hey, this is Richard Aybar. They might not hear the whole message, but they hear my name.
Love it. Also, not only that, when people leave messages, the reason people don't like leaving messages is they don't get calls back. The reason they don't get calls back is they don't leave good messages.
Possibly.
If you leave a message that has something personalized, some reason you're calling, and something to create urgency or why they should call you back, your odds of being called back are like 10 times higher. But most people go like, hey, this is so-and-so, I'm calling you about something, bye. And it's like, all right, well, I don't really need to call them back. It's not like, hey, I really need to tell you about something. Give me a call back if you get a chance. I'll be available today till about 7 o'clock, and if not, I'll be up and moving by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Brian gets that message. He's going to go, okay, Aaron doesn't usually call me and leave me messages, and he said he can be available tonight or tomorrow morning. I didn't say, please call me back, it's important, but he hears there's something important about this and is 10 times more likely to call me back. And there's other ways to do it. I'm not like, don't copy my script, but the concept is the same. If you don't create some reason to call you back with some level of urgency, your callbacks from voicemails are going to be 10 times less than just throwing an extra line in. Would you agree with that, by the way?
Yeah, I would agree, definitely.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what you say to people, and I mean, you're just going wild with a little bit of everything. Is that right? Like every day, you're just kind of attacking whatever comes your way and being proactive and making as many contacts as you can. But what are some of your buckets?
So I think it's very important, when they talked about earlier about listening to people, I'm very purposeful in my phone calls. So if I speak to you today and we have a conversation about something, I'm literally taking notes on that whole conversation. So, if you're like, hey, there we go. If you're like, hey, look, we're in the car, we're driving to my kid's tournament. My kid has a huge sports tournament this weekend. I can't talk to you right now, but call me back on Tuesday, blah, 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 blah. I'm making notes because to me, my follow-up call on that is, first thing I'm going to ask was, how was your weekend? How's your family? Hey, how was your son's game? How was your son's sports game? And I'm going to go into that. Like, I want to basically have them feel like they're not in defense of having this wall up. Well, they want to talk to me about real estate, or here's this realtor, here's Richard again calling me, asking me if I'm going to buy or if I'm going to sell. I'm trying to knock that wall down. Like, I want to make it personal. I want to get the connection. I want to have that touch. Then I'll go into, like, hey, well, look, I know we had this conversation about this property, or I know we had this conversation that you were interested in selling your home. Where are you with that? Is there anything that we can do to help you? Are there any resources that we can do? Are you looking to get your home ready to list? Because if you need contacts for painters, contractors, anything, I want to be that resource for you. Like, most people that know me know that, like, between my friends, family, people who are really, really close, my nickname is Rolodex. If you don't know, that is what my inside circle calls me. Like, whatever it is they need, legal, illegal, good, bad, like, you call me and Richard has a connection. But I'm just, I
you
always
get so many
want,
calls now.
I always want to be that resource, right? Because at the end of the day, if I become resourceful, then I'm that point of contact whenever something comes to their mind. Again, whether it's real estate. And again, if I'm resourceful at contractors, handymen, all of those things, then of course I'm going to be the resource for real estate.
Let's talk about, so Brian and Allison both talked about keeping their clients, being a resource for their clients indefinitely beyond when they, or their communities, before they, or after they sell or whatnot. Talk about some of the things you do to not just be the Rolodex, but to make sure that they know you're the Rolodex and to continue to help them realize that you're a long-term referral source for everything. Like, how do you make sure they know this relationship didn't end?
So, just like most of everyone in here, we use Follow Up Boss as a CRM. Obviously everyone gets tagged a certain way. I have a sequence of like how frequently my past customers I speak to them. So my goal is, and it's crazy, but my goal is to try to touch them every 45 days, whether it's social media posts, whether the social media comment, whether it's sending them a DM through Facebook or Instagram or something, whether it's sending them a text message, whether it's giving them a call. I do track birthdays. I personally handwrite all my birthday cards.
Do you track the 45 days too?
Huh?
Do you track the 45 days?
All of that falls into play the moment.
And is it a reminder that comes up and tells you, like, it's your hidden day 44?
In my Follow Boss, my list will come up and they'll say, hey, this contact is 45 days plus. It's time to touch them.
Got it. But you're putting everything in your CRM is the other part that I'm hearing. So I know there's some people in this room that they get 10 calls while they're driving and they don't stop the car and put 10 people's notes. What I'm hearing from you is if you're driving to his game, before you go in the game, you're actually putting those notes in?
No, so...
Or you just have a really good memory?
No, it's crazy. So this is going to kind of freak everybody out, but I'm a little bit of a freak. So I clear my call log out every day. Anyone that knows me knows.
Me too.
My call log is cleared out every day. That's my checklist, right? So if I have 10 conversations in here, I might have a good memory of what the conversation is, but then when I get home and I pull up the CRM, I'll go on the call log, and then it'll say your name, and then I'll go in my database. I'll put notes, delete. Look at the next name, put the notes, delete. Look at the next name, put the notes, delete. I do the same thing with my text messages. Like, I don't keep text messages. I see people that have, like, long logs of messages on their phone. I don't. Ever since they came out with that feature where you can recover a message and recover the deleted messages, I have a conversation with you, and it's pretty much nonsense. I just, like, literally, honestly, I write, blah, 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 and I just hit send, and I hit delete. I don't keep it. I don't keep it.
Love it.
Because it's hard, when you're speaking to 75, 100 people a day, and then you're servicing, 75, 80 customers a year, it's hard to stay organized. So I have to ask myself, huh?
Are you ever going through it and you're like, shit, what did I talk to so-and-so about?
No.
You nailed
No, I don't know.
And probably because you're OCD about it, it trains you to not forget it too.
Yeah, me and Emily had a conversation about it yesterday, and I was like, girl, I need to make a checklist or something. Because I check things like 4 or 5 times just because I'm scared that I don't want to get that phone call and say, hey, you said you were going to do this and you didn't do it.
Love it. Let me ask all of you in general, kind of go down the line. Anything we didn't talk about with how you follow up with your past clients or what you do to... Actually, let me ask both Brian and Richard, because we talked about your event, Allison. What about events? What types of events are you doing with your clients? What do you invite them to? Is there anything that you are doing like that?
This previous week, we had a pretty cool one. We had the new Captain America movie, and there was a movie date for past customers, and we invited them all out. And I think I had like 81 people RSVP. I think like 70 something showed up, and the feedback was great. You know, it was crazy because before I can even reach out to them to thank them for coming to the movie, they were reaching out to me, thanking me for inviting them and how they had such a great time and their kids enjoyed the movie and how it was such a great movie. They asked me if I saw the movie, but unfortunately I was on my phone the whole time, so I didn't get to see the movie. I don't even know what happened in the movie. But yeah, as far as events goes, you know, I mean, customer events, I think that's the first one we've done here. In the past, we've done some other ones when I used to work with Kevin on his team. But yeah, trying to keep customers and the community engaged on events.
Name a few. Give them a few.
Like customer events or community
events that went well with Kevin.
We've done happy hours for at Don Julio's. We did a big one a few years ago that was at oh my God, what's the name of it? Andretti's. That was actually really, really cool. That was actually really cool.
And that's just past clients. You invite them. We're doing a thing.
Yeah, they basically got invited out, and they came. We had lunch. We had, you know, snacks, ice cream, all the stuff for them to do. They got to play arcades, and then some of them got to do the go-karts. I think it was twice.
Any systems in the marketing or the follow-up or the signing them up that are worth sharing?
You know, I think for the most part, what I've learned with that is really comes down to the invitation. You know, I've heard it many, many times. I remember when we were doing this movie one. You know, we were like, hey, it's like $15 a ticket. And then I was like, man, I got like 300 people to invite. You know, and I started doing the math, and I was like, hold on a second. But then I realized, you know, at the end of the day, it was really more about the invite. And I always remember, you know, I've heard this in the past many times, you know, 60% of the people are probably really going to show up, maybe 50. So, you know, just the invitation, I think, sometimes means more to people when they feel like you're thinking of them.
I'll tell you, the stronger touch is sometimes the 40% that didn't come. I'll tell you, there are people I invite every month to Masterclass, and they remember me a hell of a lot more than the people that are going to click the email they get every month. It's the person that's like, man, every month he shoots me a message and tells me they won't forget.
I don't come here. You never do that with me.
Hey, that's because I know how busy you are with your time, man. If I knew that bringing you here would get Jenny, Kevin, all these, Peter, all them, I'll have you on every panel, though. So
I'll see you guys
we'll
next
have to
month.
have you back next month.
Yeah. See you guys next month.
Brian, let's talk about your events.
It's funny because I feel like we're like the same person, to be honest with you.
You know what's the weirdest thing? I don't mean to cut him off. He walks in and he goes, he comes up to me, he greets me, right? So we say hi. He's like, I'm like, nice shoes. He's like, nice shoes. Like, hey, we got matching colors. He looks at my son. He goes, hey, what's your name? My son goes, Cameron. He goes, guess what my son's name is? He goes, Cameron. And he goes, how old are you? He goes, 8. He goes, guess how old my son is? He goes, 8. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
I can move over.
I know.
We actually have your counterpart behind the stage.
I was actually disappointed you took
we
that
actually
seat.
have a special
know,
guest
right?
today.
She's
just like Allison.
It's funny though because a lot of what he's talking about, you know, we did the movie. You know, we did the movie day. We rented out the movie theater. You know, we do client appreciation days. You know, we haven't done that at the agency yet, but we're going to roll that out, and I'm excited about it. But and yeah, we don't follow up with those. It's really just about them. You know, and appreciating them and thanking them for for allowing us to help them with one of the largest transactions that they'll probably ever do in their life.
What about giveaways? You guys give stuff away?
I mean, I give away my time all the time. But,
There was a giveaway. There was a Captain America basket we raffled off.
Captain America.
No giveaways, but I think one thing that I tell when we're sitting at the closing table, I always make sure that the client knows that I'm not done with my job. A lot of agents they'll just once they get paid, it's forgotten. The joke is Brian has a guy, just like Richard says.
How do you make it clear?
Well,
he has a shirt that says Brian has a guy.
Yeah, it's like right there, right at the closing table. No, I mean, I let them know. If you ever need me for anything, we have the most amazing vendors. People that I work with that I've kept in my tight sphere. Because they're so good at what they do. Whether it's an electrician, a lender, a plumber. I get calls all the time from people that are like, "Hey, Brian, it's been 4 years. I'm ready to replace my roof. Who do you recommend?" And I think that speaks volumes. For the agent because
you're also
they
planting
trust
the seed, though, right?
Well,
you're planting that seed
and
telling them call me because I know people.
I plant the seed numerous times throughout the transaction, whether it's during the inspection because there's issues with the property that we need to address maybe afterwards at the closing table when I'm following up with them. Just a year from now, like I'm here. If you ever need me for anything real estate, I'm here. I'll help you.
Love it. And I want to ask Allison about this, but I want to add something I know Richard told me the other day, which is, Richard, you put in your notes what when you give out a referral? What goes into your follow-up, boss? When you give out a referral, like a roofer or a person for their home, what do you put into your notes?
Oh, yeah. So let's just say someone. I'm sorry, I didn't remember.
No,
but
it's
let's just
good.
say like
I
if
get
you know
it.
if someone calls me today and says, "Hey, Richard, like I'm having an issue with XYZ. I need a plumber." Blah blah blah. Like I follow up on that. Like I don't just hand over a contact and say, "Hey, here's the plumber. Here it is." I put a task in my follow-up boss. 4 days, 7 days later, whatever the case is, and go, "Hey, I know I referred you, Razel, the plumber. Like how'd it go?" Because what I always tell them is I'm just checking in because I want to make sure that whoever I refer you to, you're happy. Now, if I get negative feedback, now that's my job to go back to my plumber and be like, "Dude, like I'm referring you, and this is the feedback I got. This can't happen." But it's also showing the client, or the customer or anyone that like I really care that whoever I hand it off to them, that they're in good hands.
And
like,
damn, this guy is sharp. He's on top of it.
and for the most part, people love it. I mean, they tell me, "Oh my God, thank you so much for checking in on that." Like, I have a lady that's been dealing with 3 weeks on getting a tree stump, and I call her like every week, and the tree stump guy can't come, and I'm on a 3-way call, and I'm arguing with the guy.
I just want to point out, if my realtor from 3 or 4 years ago remembered to check back about the tree stump I asked him about 2 weeks ago, how on point do I think he's going to handle my listing?
Dude, I'm trying to get the listing. I don't even have it. Like, she's getting the house
But
ready.
she knows how you're going to handle it, is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
she knows, like, dang, if he checks on the tree stump, he's going to check on the stuff that has to do with him getting paid.
And again, I don't even ask her what's the status of the listing. I ask her like, "Hey, what's the status of the tree stump?"
Love it. Allison, I know you got stuff to add to this, so I'm just going
To that
let
part,
you jump in.
Farm. She got tree stump.
I got a farm. I do actually. When I send out a referral, I group text. So I am on that group text with them. I want to know that they're answering back. So I group text. Hey, did you get the power washer? Oh, well, we're going out of town. Great. I'll meet the power washer at your house at 3:00. Like, I am all in the trenches. So I want to know, especially because that's my name. I have worked so hard to build that. I need to know he's at least responding to the communication. And then when it's going good or they're in the process, if they want to take me off of it, it's fine. If they don't, that's fine too.
See, what I'm hearing is when he said talk to people, you're like, the three of you are just constantly talking to people. Allison, your entire marketing strategy is not just talk to them, but like go really deep with them as fast as you can.
Yeah, and I know
and as involved as you can.
Yeah.
Correct?
So one real quick thing I wanted to say about direct marketing. So I'm sending out got off the lead.
Got off the lead.
Yes, leads. Yeah. And I'm doing about 2,500 mailers a month. And I started my business with mailers, and I got away from it. I don't know why, because all these other things came into place. And I'll tell you guys a quick story. So one of the ladies I sent a mailer to saved everyone. This is a couple times. I go back to the listing appointment. They have 12 months of my mailers. One of the ladies, I get a call. Her daughter said, "Hey, you mailed my mom for years, over and over and over, and every postcard she kept, and she taped it to the refrigerator, and she put a folder in our house that said, if I ever pass away, call this realtor." And it was written on my postcard, and they called me. And so it's those intentional touches that I know. The pumpkins, when I show up, "Hey, listen, we were expecting your pumpkin. We didn't go to the pumpkin patch. One client said I didn't have the money to get a pumpkin this year. We were expecting our pumpkin. Thank you so much." Those deep dives, to me, have changed my business, change who I am as a person, change my conversation, change my business completely all the way around. So, yeah, I deep dive.
Love it. Yeah. Let's go down this line and just hear about what's the best thing you've ever done for your past clients or to generate leads. Just give me like one cool thing you've done. Y'all have done so many cool things. Give me one thing that you're like, this is the best thing I ever did with my past clients, or this is the best thing I ever did to add to my buckets, or this is the best thing I ever did to generate more leads. Richard, you can
me
go
first.
Whoever wants to go.
I'm probably the same story. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We planned this.
So I helped a client, customer of mine. Community, right. I will fix that.
That gets complicated though when like you're actually farming a community.
Yeah.
She kept saying community. I was like, just to be clear, you're talking about like your
One
people,
person?
not like.
When I talk about my geo farming is my farm.
Probably.
So I geo farm, I database farm. So those are labeled differently. My community is my people. I can lean on them. They can lean on me. We can have.
What do you call your farm?
Geo farm, database farm.
No, I mean like your actual farm.
Oh.
It's getting tricky here.
Fireline Road in Pennsylvania.
That's funny.
All right, so back to best thing you ever did.
Right, I'm actually doing it right now. I helped a client. I helped her daughter buy a house. They reached back out to me, and she was moving from Miami here. We found her. She was having a hard time finding a property that fit everything that she needed. We ended up finding something that needed a lot of work. And I told her, I said, Brian has a guy, I'm going to take care of you. You're in Miami. We're going to close on this property. And the moment we closed, I started making phone calls. I called my handyman, I called my roofer, I called my electrician, I called my plumber. I was kind of acting as a GC, going through that entire process now. It's been about 4 months. She hasn't seen the home yet, and I think next week we'll be done. But that's the kind of service that I offer. I'm not asking to get paid for it. I've already gotten my commission out of it, but I'm excited to show her what the house is going to look like. We literally have flipped this entire thing, and it's every one of my contacts, every one of my vendors that I've taken, that I've personally brought into that house and made it exactly what she wants. And that's just the kind of customer service that I do. So I'm excited about that, get more selfishly, because it's going to be fun to give her this, the surprise. So yeah, that's my favorite one.
I think for me, the best thing I did to build more business, and for my clients, the best thing I did for my clients was systemize my business. So when I built the systems and the SOPs and the things I needed to do for my business to run, my time blocking is all pouring into my clients.
I follow what you're saying, but I want to make sure you extrapolate what you're saying for the people that don't just hear SOPs and immediately know what that actually means. Standard operating procedures, but what does it actually mean to them?
How I operate our brand. We have a brand manager. So she's not my assistant. She's my brand manager. She handles the integrity of the brand. How are we following up through our follow-up boss? Is it optimized? Are the things we do getting us to our goal? That all of that gets put out of the way. The happy birthdays, the happy anniversaries, the weekly newsletter, the monthly newsletter. All of that gets pushed out of the way. So in my time blocking, it's not just lead genning. It's calling my community. Hey, how you doing? Did you eat this week? How's it going? I know your daughter went away. You're home alone. Do you need me? That's how I prospect.
So what it sounds like is you systematize the back end of your business so much that you can just be relational with all the people.
We have checklists. We have a checklist for our checklist.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah.
What types of things do you have on checklist?
Okay, so we'll talk listings, listing checklist. Okay, intake goes to conversation goes into follow-up boss goes into my dashboard goes into ordering the items. Our coming soon email 72 hours prior. Our 48-hour email is here's what you can expect at our meeting. Flowers get ordered, or fruit basket if they have allergies, or if they have a special dietary need. I ask those questions when I'm talking to them on the phone to get to know what their likes are. If they're a Cleveland Browns fan, something Cleveland Browns goes to their house.
Do you track that
Whatever it
somewhere?
is. I'm actually a Jets fan. But
does it go in your CRM or something?
Yeah. So
Brian, same thing? Do you keep notes on this stuff?
And then from there, it pulls up our checklist. Our pre-listing kit gets put together. From our pre-listing kit, what our CMA session is. We have an 8-week follow-up plan just on our pre-stuff.
Got it.
Can I get that?
Yeah, let's hear.
Yeah.
Let's hear what you would do. Oh, I thought you were adding to it, but then you were saying, can I get that? But would you have something to add to it?
Oh no, I was just being funny.
Should we let her keep going?
Sure, you can have it.
You want to give us another checklist?
Oh, me?
Yeah, Rambo. Let's see. That's your listing checklist. Let's hear.
My listing checklist is pretty solid. My buyer checklist, I pretty much wing it. I'm just really personal in it. We
How
have
about your open house checklist?
I don't do open houses.
Got it. Let's hear your open house checklist.
Show up. he said door knock. I don't know about door knock. I do a lot of open houses. I've been known. It's funny. Ryan Thomas can tell you I don't know how, but I have a really, really good success rate when it comes to open houses and conversion. But, I think for the most part.
It's the hair.
It's the hair. I think it's the hair. But for the most part, I think, when it comes to open houses, for me, I try no different than anything when you're connecting with past customers or anything. My purpose is the connection. Sometimes I remember years ago, Kevin would be like, hey, you just pop into someone's open house and just see what kind of questions they ask you, right? And I would walk into these open houses, I won't walk in with a pole, I'll walk in like a random person, and I'll hear agents ask me, hey, are you looking for a house? Are you pre-approved? Are you looking to buy? When are you looking to buy? And I'm like, dude, you're asking me all the wrong questions. Literally, I don't even want to talk to you.
You can tell who's straight in
I don't
sales.
even want to talk to you. When I do my open houses and people walk in, I'm asking strategic questions only because I'm trying to extract what I can find that's going to create a connection, right? Are you from the area? Do you know the area? No? Okay, cool. Where'd you move from? And then you never know what that leads to. And a lot of times, I did an open house in Winter Garden recently where 32 families walked in on my listing, and 2 of them walked in and said, I'm from Queens, New York. So guess what? I'm from Queens, New York. What school did you go to? Richmond Hill High School. Guess what? I went to Richmond Hill High School. Really? Really? Boom. And then we start to connect.
How old's your son?
And then at that point, the conversation just keeps rolling. Long story short, I follow up with them. I literally get no answer. And then out of the blue, this Saturday, I get the text, and it's just like, hey, sorry, we've been really busy. I've been waiting on a settlement. I'm expected to get $2 million, and I'm looking at buying a house cash. Would you be willing to be my agent? Boom, it hit.
Love it.
And I never asked her a question about when you're looking to buy, are you looking to buy. You asked a question about a story, that they did for past customers, and I don't think it's harder for me to remember ones that I've done for past customers, but I could tell you one specific that I had a listing, and it was a photo shoot for a listing, and I pull up to this listing. The lady's husband just died. Her son was supposed to help her get the house ready. No lie, I pull up to this house, and the grass is like this high. The first thing I say to myself, I was like, oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. She comes to the door, and she's like, my son was supposed to cut the grass. He said he ain't doing it. He left. You're just gonna have to shoot it the way it is. So I go inside the house. I help her tweak anything that has to do inside the house. This is the middle of July, by the way. I help her organize the little things inside the house. So I go back outside, and I'm staring at this property, and I'm just staring at it. I'm like, I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy. Kevin's laughing because he knows the story. I'm like, I'm not happy with this. I had white sneakers on, a pair of jeans, and a polo shirt. And I knock on this lady's door, and I'm like, where's your lawnmower? And she's like, why? And I was like, where's the lawnmower? And she's like, you're not going to cut the grass, are you? I was like, damn real, I'm going to cut this damn grass. And I'm out there in 98-degree weather, cutting this grass because I was like, there's no way I'm going to have this on this listing, and Devor's going to want $5,000 for this edit. So I was like, I need to figure it out. But yeah.
Not if you got their QR code that they got today. So make sure you go scan the code.
Let me get that.
Save you a little bit.
But that would probably be, and the lady, obviously she couldn't buy again. She had to go into a rental, but she tells me all the time, she refers me to people. She's extremely happy. And I think the gesture to her showed that I wasn't just about selling her home. I could guarantee you tons of agents would have walked over there and just said, it's getting shot like this, and it is what it is.
That's like how Ritz-Carlton, they give everyone on the staff, it's $1,000 plus discretionary budget they can spend to make a customer's experience better at any time. So what happens is, let's say that Ryan calls and he's on his way to Ritz-Carlton, and I happen to be, I'm the freaking janitor, and I don't know why I picked up the phone, but I'm on the phone, and he's like, dude, my car's broken down, I'm on my way. That even the janitor can make $1,000 decision to go, not just have him picked up, but they'll send him a limo or something fancy that completely exceeds his expectation, pick him up, handle all the stuff, he'll come in, he'll be so impressed. But everyone on the staff is given that discretionary budget because they're trained at the money they make, instead of spending it on marketing, they spend it on past clients' experiences so that they go and tell more people about it and talk about it forever. So you mowing the lawn, that lady goes and tells everyone, this dude freaking mowed my lawn, But she's going to tell him he's willing to, and it got you at least a few
Well, we
weeks.
learned something, babe. Call the Ritz-Carlton after this.
I can share real quickly my high-level postcard schedule if you want.
Let's hear it.
For mailing. So we mail, we're really, like I said, we're heavy into mailing. So we have a piece of mail that goes out every 21 days. For the first 3 months, we mail 3 times a month. After that, then we go down to once or twice a month. So the first piece of mail that goes out for that campaign is a brag piece. We call it a vanity piece. So something about me, a QR code to the community, why I love real estate, what I do as a hobby. Second piece would be an equity piece. So whether it could be a core fact. Now we mix ours. So we do a lot of printing that's high level touch. It looks like a wedding invitation in an envelope with a wedding invitation label. We go all out on paper. So that brag piece is super elevated. Second piece is either a core fact, prospect plus, a QR generated valuation piece. And then the third piece would be a neighborhood feature. Coffee shop. Hey, this is what's happened in the neighborhood. Hey, Johnny Sue over here is thinking about doing a pop-up. So that's in each order, that's how it goes. Brag piece, valuation, something in the neighborhood. Brag piece, valuation, something in the neighborhood. So.
Gonna put in follow boss later.
Yeah, just repeat it one time for those people that needed it.
Okay, so
brag piece.
So a brag piece. So something about you. Hi, I'm Allison. I sell in the neighborhood. I like to garden in my spare time. Or one of my brag pieces is, hey, I rescued a dog. This is our next piece going out. I rescued a dog. The front of my postcard is his picture. And for every house I sell this year in the county I sell the house, I'm giving $50 back to an animal shelter. He's my first rescue. I've never done that before. So that's what my postcard says. And I say, if you have a rescue that means something to you, let me know. I'll donate to that. So that's my brag piece. It's just something about me, the company, the business. It's vanity. It's a vanity piece. Second one's always evaluation. Click here, whether it's a home bought back end piece or something that they can click and get the value of their home. right? Then that becomes a hand raiser lead for me, and then I can see that they're looking for a CMA. I'm getting a lot of traction on my vanity pieces. I'm getting a lot. So I mailed 125 postcards, and I got 5 listings off of 125 postcard mail.
Love it.
A couple
we
months
might have
ago.
to do a postcard session one of these months to talk about that.
So,
how many of y'all learned? Oh, go ahead. You got something?
Just put it on the screen, girl.
I was saying. How many of you guys learned something from the speakers so far? Raise your hand or make some noise. All right, I'm gonna ask one more question to all of them, but want you to pull out your phones real quickly. Pull out your phones if you got it. Just hold your phones up real quick so I can see everyone's got them. You're going to want to put in your schedule March 20th from 9:30 to 11. We will be right back here. There's a short code, by the way, MCCFL 325. By the way, the whole year is going to work like that. So it's going to be 325, 425, 525, 625. For every month, it'll work really easily. So if you're good with patterns, there's a pattern. But next month, we're going to have some badass people on the stage, so I want to give them a shout out real quickly. We're going to have Matt Wheatley from Wheatley Realty Group. Y'all make some noise for him. We're going to have Erica Diaz. She's been on the stage a whole bunch. She's kicking ass. Chris Feemster. I could have sworn I saw him earlier. He's crushing it up in Lake County. And Luana Leventhal, who just opened her own brokerage, but we made the flyer before that was announced, so it didn't say it yet. But they're going to be awesome. We're going to be talking about building their team, culture, recruiting, managing them, all that good stuff. How many of y'all want to come next month? Make some noise. All right, make sure you sign up while the tickets are still free because I'm going to start charging $10 a piece. It's going to go to charity. And if you have to pay $10, it's your fault for not signing up today. So really quickly, I want to ask down the line, give me maybe just bullet point, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, whatever it is, a couple of things, to make sure everyone that this point was hit home. I want to hear, right now, what are the 2, 3, 4 things that you're focused on year in, year out that make the difference in you staying consistent? So 3, 4 things that every single year, this is what makes you consistent. This is your bread and butter. This is why you're always at the top. Give me a couple of them.
I would definitely lead generation, social media. Again, I think if people don't see you, they don't know you. And again, I think people sometimes want to align themselves with someone that they see doing what they're doing each and every day and helping families buy or sell real estate. It creates trust, but it also creates a brand. And I mean, I don't know. I think really just consistency. I think everything that I've been doing has been stuff that I've been doing from the very, very beginning. I heard Brian say something earlier, and I kind of admire it because he said all these activities that he's been doing, he doesn't really do them no more. And I think for me, it's hard. He says he gets to his office and he checks his stuff in the morning and he does all these things. I'm going to be honest, I check mine when I'm in the bathroom first thing in the morning. So I look at my tasks and I'm like, how many calls do I have to make today so I can strategize my day?
We are different. All
right. We are. Maybe your office is the same office. No, but I think it's just maintaining consistency. I think in our industry, a lot of us could get blindsided by day-to-day activities and different things and running errands and doing XYZ, and I just stay.
Brian, how about you?
I think obviously focus on continuing to build relationships. We preached about that up here. I think that's extremely important. Making sure you're present, on social media. I think that 2025 is going to be the year of social media. If you're not out there putting your nuggets out there, I think that's extremely important. And just in structuring your business, making sure that you have a plan every single day. If you're not busy, figure out how to be busy. So just kind of keep that structure is what I would say.
Love it. Allison?
I think for me, continuing to be an advocate for my clients is huge. I think for me, not focused on balance in my business, but harmony. We talked a little bit about that. I'm looking for harmony, not balance.
How do you define it?
Getting rid of the noise.
And how do you evaluate when you're on track and not?
When I'm not healthy and I'm not moving in a forward momentum.
Love it.
When I'm not moving. And just being consistent with my mailing, pouring into the clients. Geofarming is the one huge thing when I metrics my business, growth year over year.
I love it. How many of you guys learned something today? Make some noise and give a round of applause to these panelists. I'm sure they could go all day, but we don't have all day. But what we do have are tacos. Right? They are tacos. And burritos, because PJ Crescenzo with Element Mortgage. By the way, how many of you guys have ever been new? You've been in a room and you didn't know anybody and it was super awkward? Raise your hand. Whether you moved here or came. So PJ is a top-notch lender from South Carolina that moved to Orlando and basically didn't know anybody. And he jumped right in. He was a Real Producers partner there. And he was like, I don't want to mess with the other people that sponsor. I want to get along with everybody. But I want to buy the lunch at the end of every masterclass. So the first 75 people that grab something today, it's on PJ. Make sure you thank them. There's tacos in the back, and every month we change up the food. If you got a food you want, tell me, and we'll pick it because he just asked me what to get, and I just switch it because it looks cool on the flyer. So let's give a giant round of applause for all the speakers, all the sponsors, and go see PJ and get yourself a taco. Make sure you come and see us next month. Thank you to Les and the team at Maitland Civic Center, also Dan Rojas for setting up everything. Thanks for coming out, y'all. Take care. See you next month.